joining us now, as does every Monday at 4, the great Donovan McNabb. Donovan, hello. How are you?
Good afternoon, fellas. How's it going?
Doing
Man,
good,
what
Donovan?
the hell?
Yeah.
Hold on, Donovan. Yeah, if you don't get out of that sultry voice, man, I'm like, yeah, dog, you talking to, listen.
Let the guy sound sexy.
No, man, it's like he called wifey or something, man. Come on, man. Perk up.
Listen, I know y'all animated right now, so I'm just trying to make sure I bring it down a little bit.
Okay.
Are you under the weather?
I know you fired up. I know I'm ready to roll.
Okay.
Well, Donovan, we have to start with the most important thing. Why did you take such a mean shot at Josh Allen on Twitter after the game? It seemed completely unnecessary.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to remind people of what you used to do and what bring excitement to the game. And you look at that particular play, and that's something that he probably can do in his sleep. But it just didn't happen, and it obviously ended up on the right end for us.
Yeah, for sure. So why don't we, from an offensive perspective, break the halves down into two separate halves. First half successful. Talk about the first half first and the second half second. They moved the ball well in the first half. It seemed like they put points up on the board. What did you see that worked in the first half?
Well, it's funny because everyone talks about the tale of two halves. I mean, I've seen us moving the ball between the 20s, but I didn't see us scoring in the red zone like we should have. And for me, I mean, obviously when you get turnovers and you get good field position, you got to take full advantage of it. But I thought kind of everything that led to what happened in the second half was due to a lack of consistency in the first half. Yes, it looked good when we put up 13 points and our defense played well, but there were a reason we weren't able to run the ball effectively. That happened in the first half as well. Guys were getting beat. We had offensive linemen turning and looking at Jalen instead of pushing linemen downfield, and being able to pick up big runs when we needed and set up the play action game. I've been waiting for us to do more play action from under the center when it just seems like we're just running the football while we're under the center.
Yeah, I look at that second half, and this has happened a couple times this year, Fav, where they look good in the first half, and then you come out in the second half, and either the game plan changes or we don't change the game plan, and the other team somehow has made adjustments, and we're not making adjustments. I'm not necessarily pinning it on anyone. I guess I'm just curious as to how is that allowed or permissible for an entire half where it looks like we can't get anything done. Have you been in a situation like that? And if so, addressing it with the OC or the head coach, how does that work?
You know what? It's funny because I don't think that I have been in that situation where it's been so many times. And I think, we all go through games and seasons when you play for a long period of time where you're going to come out in the second half. It's just not as crisp as it was in the first or vice versa. But this has been consistent. This has been all season. And, I can sit from a former standpoint and say, obviously that's a conversation you have on the sideline of what we can do to change it. But then you look at it as now just a fan, that's something that the head coach has to step in and make that decision. Because it seemed like to me they wanted to establish the run in the second half, and we were just getting beat up front. And so now you're forced to pass the ball. And when you're running two-man routes and not being able to kind of shock them a little bit with your formations, your motions, or whatever it may be, you're just kind of going to be stagnant, and that's exactly what happened in the second half.
You mentioned the offensive line, and it's been something we've talked about all year. I think the thing that we're always trying to get a handle on is are these guys just physically not what they were last year, and it is what it is, or is it something that they maybe could have coached around and they haven't done that? If it's the former, there's nothing you can do about it. If it's the latter, it's frustrating. Is this something where these guys are just physically getting beat that you see, both from a pass and a run game perspective?
You know what? I love Coach Stoutland, and I've known Coach Stoutland since I was at Syracuse. He was there with me, and he does a great job of coaching. So I won't say it's the coaching. I think it's more of the injuries that we've been faced with in the different positions, and then also the consistency with the guys. And so, like I talked about during the middle of the season, and maybe even before the season, Malata has probably been his worst year of consistent play. that he's been there since he's been there. I would say Juergens is being young. It's been really tough for him this year with injuries and then coming back and then not being consistent. I mean, that Buffalo game, that was tough. For a Pro Bowler to play like that, it's tough. And so I would say a little bit of lack of consistency and also production from an offensive line standpoint. So I see it's more the players, not so much the coaching.
Yeah.
Defensively, the team has gotten better all year. We were talking about whether they are a championship-level defense. Is the performance you saw yesterday, do you think that is a defense that can carry a team that has not been consistent enough on offense?
I would say yes, and I think the best thing that's happened to that defense is with Jalen Carter being hurt, where other guys had to step up, and now you get a chance to see what other guys can do in key roles. And so as far as our secondary is concerned, I know the question as far as who's going to be the second corner. George Jackson has kind of stepped into that role. I think Ringo is, a bit more of a special teams guy. And then when you use Cooper kind of playing inside and outside, it helps in so many ways. So I think for the defense, you got to tip your hat off to them because they have been consistent and they've continued to get better as the year went on.
We got a big week coming up here, and we've been in this situation in the past. Resting players versus playing guys. They got the number 2 seed that they still can get if Chicago loses to Detroit. How would you approach going into this game? Would you want to go for that number 2 seed, or would you do the whole resting thing?
No, I'm going for the number 2 seed. Because I want to represent at our home, and I want to make sure that we're in a position where we're dictating exactly what's going on and where we're going. And I think for this Philadelphia Eagles team, to be honest with you, as much as we talked about their offense, they need to play at least a half. And so what does that look like? That looks like the offensive line trying to establish something, momentum, to be able to, get some consistency up front. And then also our play-action game. I think in this next game, this is an opportunity for the offense and Kevin Petula to do something we haven't seen. And what does that look like? That means attack downfield. Let's open up the passing game a little bit now so we put that on film, and now everybody else starts to understand that that's something that we can do.
There was I'm not sure how much of it you saw because it wasn't an Eagles game, but there was a shootout last night between the Bears and the Niners with two quarterbacks who. Okay, well then I wonder what you think of the play of the two quarterbacks. One young, one not young, Brock Purdy and Caleb Williams. What they have done.
They're both young.
What's that?
Young.
Well, but Purdy's what? Purdy's probably 30.
20, I think Purdy's only about 26 years old, 27 years old.
26. There you go.
Yeah.
Just curious what you thought of their play last night and this year. Caleb, his second year in the league. Purdy had an off year last year, but seems to be playing great this year. Some good quarterback play in the NFC this year, and wanted to know what you thought of those two guys last night.
Well, what I've seen was progression. I've seen progression from the San Francisco organization and football team, and Brock Purdy being that. Remember, he started out, he was banged up a little bit. Mac Jones carried the load, and I believe he went 5-1 in his 6 starts. And Purdy came back and just continued to take it from there. Give a lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan and that offense because McCaffrey has really elevated his game with all the injuries that they've been faced with Kittles and their offensive line kind of being in shambles a bit. But they've done a great job. I was impressed by the way their team played as a whole with, Fred Warner being out and the injuries that they have on defense. So I was impressed with San Francisco. As far as the Bears are concerned, you got to give Caleb a little bit more love than what he's been given. I think a lot of people have been looking to see if he can exist in this offense with Ben Johnson, and he's continued to flourish. And I'm really impressed by the way he's handled himself throughout this whole process and where the Bears are at this point.
So I think I've asked you this before. The last one for me is just Eagles go in, beat Buffalo, and the hierarchy of the NFC. The team's going to make the playoffs. We have the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks, the Bears, the Packers, the Eagles, and then whoever wins the NFC South. Where do you see the Eagles in that hierarchy of NFC teams right now?
Well, last week I believe I said that they were probably 2 or 3.
Yes.
You know, I kind of had them a little bit of 2A, 2B with Seattle. Sam Darnold just hasn't been consistent enough for me to continue to have Seattle in that position. For me, when I also look at how San Francisco's been playing, I think you have to kind of put San Francisco in that position now, where it all depends on what they do, obviously, in this week's game. If they win that, they get the number 2 seed, I believe, or number 1 overall. And so you got to put them in there. I would say the Eagles they're still stuck at 2. I think 2, possibly 3, no lower than that though.
Yeah, I think that's about right. All right, Donovan.
I got one more for you.
Oh, okay.
Well,
right.
You've been on your NHL tour.
Come on.
I saw you.
You just got me fired up.
But hockey?
Yes. Well, listen.
No, the other NHL.
Yeah. Well, Five knows the better athletes in his family or it's from Roxy's side of the family.
Whoa. See, don't be trying to butter up now, Ike. You trying to butter up. She ain't listening.
No, listen. I was impressed, man. You got nephew out there checking out his uncle and everything, man. Listen, I think it's a big deal, man. I love the fact that you out there taking the hockey tour, man. Loved it. Seriously. I loved it, man.
You know, I got softball, I got basketball and football.
He is everywhere, man.
I got to spend some time with my baby boy. It was, his dream of possibly playing in the NHL. He's got cousins that are playing professionally and on the Olympic level. So, he's inspired. And he's been playing well, man. He made the All-Star team here for his high school. And he's been playing club and traveling. So, I'm happy about him and the work he's been put forth. And so, we just produce nothing but athletes over here.
I see it. I see you.
Well, and Donovan, in fairness, now you did play football and basketball in college, but I did see Roxy play in college.
Yep.
And can we at least all admit that Roxy's a better basketball player than you are?
For sure.
I mean, can we all just say that for sure?
Oh, whoa. Wow.
She was. I saw you both play.
Hey, as I mentioned to Ike before, she's not listening. I am the better basketball player. When it comes to scoring, I'm up top. When it comes to shooting, I'm up top. Now she can run the point guard and distribute and all that, but I'm the scorer of the family.
Okay. Well, okay.
See, that's the way he was on the Eagles basketball team. That's how he was, man. That's how he was.
That's
He's
right.
gonna shoot.
Feed me. I'm open. I'm always open.
Well, the NHL and accusing your wife of being a better basketball player than you has woken you up on this phone call.
You see that? I knew that would get him. All right, brother, man.
Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next week. Yes.
Everything is going to turn out for the better, man. Everybody keep their head up. Like I said, I think the most important thing, the guys, that we got to look at, and I said it, and people kind of took it a little bit the wrong way, but it's right. It's almost like the Giants season when they ended up winning the Super Bowl. Didn't play well in the regular season, and then all of a sudden, your quarterback starts to elevate his game, and offensively, the Giants put themselves in a position when their defense carried them pretty much through, and they ended up finding their way to win. So I think this might be one of those type of seasons.
I like it.
Fingers crossed, Donovan. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next week.
Happy New Year, bro.
Sounds good, guys. All right now.
Yep.
All right, there he is, the great Donovan McNabb.